Many people believe that simply desiring something strongly is enough for life to respond. But the truth is more subtle and deeper. Life does not respond to what you desire in isolation, but to what you consistently vibrate. Your dominant frequency, the one you sustain even behind the scenes of conscious thought, is the true creator of your reality. Bruce Lipton shows us that our subconscious beliefs shape not only our perception, but also our biology. The body literally organizes itself around what we believe to be true. Joe Dispenza adds, "You cannot create a new reality with the same old identity. It is necessary to embody a new personality with new feelings, attitudes, and perceptions. Only then can the field respond differently." This leads us to an essential point. Acting as if you already had it is not pretending nor forcing. It is not motivational theater or emotional disguise. It is a coherent vibrational choice, a deep alignment with the frequency of the reality you wish to live. And when that alignment is genuine, the quantum field responds, because the new reality already exists in potential, waiting for your yes. That's why this video is an invitation to reverse the common logic. Instead of waiting for reality to change so you can feel different, start feeling different to change reality. The secret is not in desire, but in the identity you vibrate now. And that identity begins to be written in small decisions, in the subtleties of feeling, and above all, in the way you act even before everything changes. Many carry the sensation that life is testing them, as if the universe places obstacles to measure strength, patience, or worthiness. This perception, though understandable, comes from a distorted view of reality. Life is not against you. It only mirrors the vibration you sustain, often without noticing. When you find yourself in emotional repetitions, patterns of scarcity, or cycles of conflict, it does not mean you are being punished. It means there is a field of information being emitted from within, and the universe, neutral and obedient, simply returns in form what you transmit in frequency. You are not the target of tests, but the creator of reflections. This perspective may be uncomfortable at first, because it shifts the focus from out there to in here. But it is also deeply liberating. If life doesn't happen to test you, but to reflect you, then all you need to do is change the transmitter so the reflection changes. Control does not lie in the external, but in the quality of your inner vibration. The world stops being a battlefield and becomes a sensitive mirror. And mirrors do not judge, they only show. That's why the most powerful question is not, why is this happening to me? But what is this experience reflecting about my frequency right now? It is at this point of vibrational honesty that change begins. Acting as if you already had everything you desire is neither arrogance nor denial of your current reality. It is taking responsibility for what you decide to emit. Because when your vibration changes, life has no choice. It reflects. The reality you live today was not born today. It is the vibrational echo of what you felt, thought, and believed in the days, weeks, or even months before. It's as if the universe is always playing the music you composed some time ago. That's why you often change your frequency and still don't see results, because the field is returning an earlier reflection. This gap between vibration and manifestation creates confusion. The mind wants immediacy, but the field responds with precision, not haste. Understanding this is essential to avoid sabotaging your own process. What is happening now is a delayed transmission from the station you previously tuned into. Imagine a radio station. Even if you change the channel now, the old sound still echoes for a few seconds. The same logic applies to your life. If you spent years vibrating in scarcity, doubt, or self-sabotage, the first days of a new vibration will still encounter old remnants. But that does not mean your change isn't working. The transformation is underway, and the new signal is already being sent. Silent, steady, consistent. The secret is not to confuse the echo of the past with the failure of the present. Vibrational patience is one of the greatest tests of awakened consciousness. Persisting in a high vibration even when reality still looks the same is what redefines your entire timeline. Because the field is always listening, but it responds to constancy, not to anxiety. Hold the new station and the old echo will dissolve. Desire is natural. We all have dreams, goals, longings, but desire, when sustained as a permanent state, turns into a signal of lack. The quantum field, sensitive to vibration, interprets constant desire as the continuous affirmation that something is still missing, and so it gives you more of the same, absence. This is where the difference between desiring and being arises. Desire says, I don't have it yet. Being says, this is already mine. Desire vibrates expectation, anxiety, lack. Being vibrates certainty, presence, and wholeness. That's why so many people who desire intensely keep pushing away what they want. Without realizing it, they are anchored in scarcity. The transition begins when you stop feeding the energy of I want and start cultivating the energy of I already am. This is not denying the current reality, but recognizing that your vibration has the power to anticipate experiences. When you embody the identity of the one who already lives what you desire, the field begins to reorganize everything to validate this new frequency. This is the point where desire dissolves into presence. You are no longer waiting, you are inhabiting. No longer asking, you are expressing. The vibration shifts from seeking to manifesting. And when you vibrate as someone who already has, the universe does not distinguish whether it has happened or not. It only responds faithfully to the frequency of being. Acting as if you already had it may sound, at first, like pretending. But in truth, it is the exact opposite. It is the most honest expression of your vibrational choice. It's not about convincing others, but about realigning yourself with the highest version of who you already are in the field of possibilities. This acting does not require major external changes. It is subtle. It's in the way you get up in the morning, in how you breathe, in the energy with which you carry out small tasks. Every gesture carries a vibrational signature, and when you begin to act as the person who already lives your best reality, your frequency starts to stabilize in that new state. Here lies the paradox. It is not pretending something doesn't exist, but anticipating the vibration of what is already available. The quantum field does not respond to the doubt of waiting, but to the silent conviction of someone who has already decided to be. Acting as if is vibrationally rehearsing the reality you want to anchor. It is in this rehearsal that the body learns. The cells listen, the brain begins to form new networks, and the world responds. You notice synchronicities, signs, encounters, doors opening. Because you are no longer waiting for something to arrive, you are living as the one who already is. This posture is not about control, it's about coherence, not about illusion, it's about awareness. Acting as if is aligning thought, emotion, and attitude, and letting the field take care of the rest. You can repeat an affirmation 1,000 times. You can visualize every day. You can write wish lists in detail. But if all of this is done with a cold heart, without genuine emotion, the quantum field will not respond. Because what moves creation is not words, it's emotional frequencies. Emotion is what carries your intention into the field. It gives vibrational density to thought. Without emotion, intention is just a mental shadow. With emotion, it becomes living light, capable of shaping reality around you. That is why gratitude, joy, and trust are so powerful. They are emotions with high vibrational frequency and great resonance power. The heart speaks a language the universe understands perfectly. When you feel as if you are already living what you desire, the emotion is not pretending, it is transmitting a vibrational truth. And that truth, when coherent and consistent, is irresistible to the field. The problem is that often we try to feel something without first dissolving what is blocking it. Elevated emotions don't appear out of nowhere. They bloom when the mind quiets and the body aligns. Conscious breathing, presence, and small gestures of self-care create the fertile ground for these emotions to naturally emerge. In the end, it is emotion that transforms thought into reality. When you learn to feel before you see, you begin to see what you feel. And then, manifestation stops being effort and becomes consequence. Long before you even think about attracting something, you are already vibrating. And that vibration is the filter that selects which experiences can or cannot reach you. Bob Proctor always said, "Everything in the universe vibrates, and it is your dominant vibration that determines what you experience." Most people focus on the law of attraction as if it were a magnet pulling things closer. But that's only part of the process. The deeper truth is that you don't attract through effort. You tune in through resonance. And to tune in you must adjust your vibration. Imagine a radio trying to catch a station without being on the right frequency. No matter how much you want to hear that song, if the dial is wrong, all you'll get is noise. In the same way, no matter how much you want something, if your vibration isn't compatible, it won't manifest. The law of attraction by itself can lead to frustration. Because desiring something without changing your frequency is like asking for water and still turning on the gas tap. True creation begins with the law of vibration. When you vibrate in coherence with what you want, the field responds immediately. Therefore, before asking, "What do I want to attract?" ask, "What am I vibrating right now?" That is the question that changes everything. Because it's not desire that brings manifestation, it's the state of being you sustain silently, moment by moment. You can change habits, thoughts, and behaviors, but if the identity behind them remains the same, everything circles back. This happens because identity, the who I am you believe yourself to be, is the root of all manifestation. The quantum field does not respond to what you do, but to what you are. This identity, most of the time, operates unconsciously. You may say you want abundance, but if inside you still see yourself as limited, unworthy, or disconnected, your vibration will betray your intention. It is identity that shapes the signal you emit, and the field responds to that signal with absolute fidelity. The good news is that identity is not fixed. It is a program that can be rewritten, but not by force, by awareness. It begins by observing the I ams you affirm daily. I am forgetful, I am anxious, I am not good with money. Each of these commands reinforces a timeline, and each time you repeat them, you solidify the role you're playing. Redefining your identity doesn't mean lying to yourself. It means choosing a new vibrational point of origin. It means declaring, feeling, and living as someone who already is, even if the world hasn't reflected that completely yet. It means becoming before having. When you change the root, who you believe yourself to be, the branches, actions, emotions, results change naturally. Because the quantum field does not negotiate with desires, it mirrors identities. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between something vividly imagined and something truly lived. This is one of the most fascinating discoveries of modern neuroscience, and it's also a direct bridge to quantum spirituality. Joe Dispenza reinforces, when you imagine yourself living your new reality with clarity and emotion, your brain begins to reconfigure itself to make it real. This process is called neuroplasticity. By frequently visualizing yourself living the life you desire, you are literally creating new synaptic connections. The brain begins to abandon old circuits, based on scarcity, fear, or limitation, and install new neural pathways associated with your new identity. It's as if you were training the brain to inhabit the future in the present. But it's not enough to just see the image. You must feel it with truth. Emotion is the key element that seals this new configuration. When you feel gratitude, joy, or trust during visualization, you send the body a chemistry compatible with this new reality, and the body begins to believe it's already happening. That's when the body and mind stop being a reflection of the past and become a model of the future. You stop being the result of your memories and begin to be the expression of your potential. The external reality then reorganizes itself to validate this new internal state. This is not optimistic fantasy. It is applied neuroscience. Each conscious, felt, and repeated visualization is a biological rehearsal of your new self, and that rehearsal is what makes the invisible inevitable. The universe responds with precision to the coherence of your energetic field. When mind, heart, and body are aligned, that is, when your thoughts, emotions, and actions vibrate in unison, the signal you emit becomes clear, stable, and powerful. This coherence is what transforms intention into reality. The HeartMath Institute has proven that the heart generates an electromagnetic field up to 5,000 times stronger than the brain. When this field is in harmony with your thoughts and feelings, you become a true quantum transmitter. The field picks up on this alignment and begins reorganizing circumstances in resonance with it. Many people live in a state of inner fragmentation. They think one thing, feel another, and act in the opposite way. This disconnection generates vibrational noise. It's like trying to tune into several stations at once. The result is confusion, static, and the absence of clear manifestation. Coherence doesn't require dramatic effort. Sometimes it begins with a simple moment of presence, a conscious breath, a choice made in peace. These small daily alignments are what build the foundation of a stable and receptive field. When you reach this state of coherence, there is no resistance between what you desire and what you emanate. And at that point, the field has no choice. It reflects exactly what you consistently vibrate. Many people live manifestation as a battle. They struggle, force, repeat with tension. But the quantum flow is not activated by effort, but by tuning. You don't need to push life, you only need to adjust your inner sails to the right wind. When you vibrate as someone who already has, the universe doesn't need to be convinced. It simply responds. That response comes in the form of synchronicities, unexpected encounters, solutions that seem magical. This is flow, life organizing itself around your dominant frequency without friction. Excessive effort often arises from doubt. We try to compensate with action what we cannot sustain in vibration, but that only generates exhaustion, frustration, and distance from what we want. In flow, there is surrender, not passivity. There is presence, not urgency. Flowing is not about abandoning direction. It is about trusting the movement. It is following the impulses of the heart, the subtle intuitions, the silent callings that show the next step. Each gesture is born from the center, not from lack. When you live from this inner place of wholeness, everything around you begins to align. You are no longer trying to attract, you are simply allowing what is already yours to arrive. Bruce Lipton teaches us that changing the subconscious program is, in practice, changing biology, and with it, profoundly altering the field of possibilities around us. Greg Braden adds, "The heart is the bridge between the inner world and the quantum field, and it is through the union of elevated emotion and clear intention that we generate coherence, the ideal state for conscious manifestation." Acting as if you already had it is not about pretending, nor about living in illusion. It is about inhabiting, vibrationally, the reality you have chosen to experience. When you sustain this state consistently, in thought, feeling, and attitude, the field does not distinguish whether it has already happened or not. It simply responds. This practice dissolves the distance between who you are today and who, deep down, you know you can be. It reprograms the body, trains the brain, repositions your identity, and transforms your vibrational signature. You stop chasing signs and become the sign itself. Life does not respond to what you desire. It responds to what you vibrate. And when you consciously choose to live as one who already is, the quantum field has no alternative. It reflects that decision as form, circumstance, and manifested reality. So stop waiting. You are already ready. Now is the time to stop desiring and start being, with clarity, presence, and truth.